create something here, I'll kick it off, and I'll start to do some work. If I've gone down a path that's too far in the wrong direction, then I'll come back and start over. This creates the same theme files each time, so I always know the environment I'm working in. There's rarely too many changes. When they do an update, sometimes they'll fix a bug or something that didn't render quite the way people expected it to. So between versions, you might see a slight change in the way the theme files are generated, but they're valid code from Go. They've been that way pretty much since they started.
Cool.
So you don't have to worry about that. These things here are basically going to trigger changes in the CSS file. So if I make any changes to the look and feel of a site, that will have an impact on the CSS file. The thing that I tend to change the most, let me make that a little narrower so that you can see it. The thing that I tend to change the most is actually the layout. And in this particular situation, there's two areas where I can work with layout. One of them is the columns. So these are my vertical column options. So I can have a column on the left. We just had one on the right. I can have it. These are default settings. I can do some custom things as well. Or I could go to 3 columns, or I've got 2 on the right or the left, or I've got 1 on each side. Now, within this, it's popular these days to, especially with like a video blog or some magazine sites, to have some of these columns be relatively wide. So we're at, if I set these to, let's say, 33%, these are what we would know as the sidebar columns in WordPress. The middle column by default will be about 34%. So that essentially makes these columns about the same size. And if I change this to so for a 1,000 pixel wide site, each of these would be about 333 pixels across, give or take, with a padding that's involved in between them. So I could potentially run if I had a video site, I could have one of these sidebars dedicated to just YouTube videos, another one for the content, and then maybe something for bookmarks, links, etc., ads, whatever you want to put in there. So that's one part of the layout that you can change, and that layout tends to be another big driver in changes, because that will, if there's one sidebar, that'll key if there's one sidebar call or 2, and where they're located within the theme before or after the loop, for example. Another aspect about layout, I can identify whether or not I want a header image, yes or no, if I want a menu system or not, no menu, only a menu, and these are drop-down menus. I can't remember if we mentioned that before you came in, with sub-menus. And then menu above the banner or below the banner. They're coming out with vertical menus probably by the end of the month, early February. And then the vertical menu will go in the sidebar area here as opposed to the horizontal. So that's one of the new cool features for WordPress.
If I might, what about like
multi-site?
To do that, you wouldn't necessarily need multi-site. You can do that with the home version. And so, because that's just changing layouts. You can change layouts. You just can't you can't do the percentage change.
Okay. So
this little thing here is the thing that's not available on the width. So I can pick any of these default settings.
Right.
And for the people that just walked in, let me change this.
So it's actually 2 o'clock right now. So
What's that?
it's 2 o'clock.
I think you're out of time.
Am I out of time? 20 minutes are up.
So can I ask a quick question? So let's say that you did a theme and you...
I'm your next speaker.
Okay, so
Oh,
whenever
I
you're
should stay on schedule. I just don't want to be the next person too.
if you do a theme, you make it live, you go in and you make a few changes in the code, and then let's say you want to change something later. Can you export everything you've done and then just say add another column and re-import it, or do you have to
save
sort of
this as
start
a
over?
working file. So, like if you're working in Photoshop, you could say like a PSD file, and you could continue to edit it before. Thing here, so I can save as, real quick, just so that you can see. I can export it as a folder with all the files, or as a zipped up folder. Kind of depends on your working style. Some people like to work with zip, some people like to edit them first. I'll do this as a folder so that we can see it. Before I export, I can pick some options as well if I choose to. I can show the home item, the home page, if you will, as a button in the menu system, or I can hide that. kind of a user option. Something you can change after the fact as well. I can change what that's called as well to something different if I choose to. I can include a backward link to myself as the author, so if I want to put in a hyperlink at the footer with my own name or something like that, I can do that. I can include a link to the program if I choose to, or I can take that out, either way. And I can identify myself as the author if I choose to, my company if I choose to. I can describe this, so I can give it a 2-column theme there as well. Analytics, you get the idea. Hit OK, and then I hit export, and it goes to my desktop. There's Goofy shoes for those of you that missed that. I wear toe shoes, but not made out of people's feet. So as I come in,
I think we have to stay on schedule. There's
Yeah.
people after
Yeah.
us, so.
no problem. Yeah, now I'm racing. So now I can pull that file, and I think I just messed up.